Symposium SAMVACHYY 2020 on Forensic Science during and post-COVID era. Before the launch, let me first acknowledge the presence of our eminent guests and distinguished persons. Today we have with us Dr. J.M. Vyas, Director General, Gujarat Forensic Science University as our chief guest. We also have Dr. Veena Vaswani, Professor, Department of Forensic Medicine and Director of Center for Ethics, Inaugural University, Bangalore. We have Dr. S.K. Gupta, Scientist E from Wildlife Institute of India. We have our speaker, Dr. Raj Srivastav, in charge, Joint Director, Ballistic and Training Division, and Dr. R.K. Kumawat, Senior Scientific Officer, State Forensic Science Laboratory, Rajasthan. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Upinder Dhar. We have Dr. Kavita Sharma, Coordinator of Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science, and Dr. M.P. Gautam, Professor, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science, SAAB, Indore. For a present beginning, we will have an auspicious lamp lighting ceremony on a virtual platform as a tribute to Ma Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. Mother, we pray for your blessing. Give us wisdom to make this world a better place. Now, we would like to welcome our chief guest, Dr. J.M. Vyas, Director General, Gujarat Forensic Science University. We would also like to welcome our distinguished speaker, Dr. Veena Vaswani, Professor, Department of Forensic Medicine, Inaugural University, Bangalore, Dr. S.K. Gupta, Scientist E, Wildlife Institute of India, Dr. Raj Srivastav, in charge, Joint Director, Ballistic and Training Division, State Forensic Science Laboratory, Sagar, and Dr. R.K. Kumawat, Senior Scientific Officer, State Forensic Science Laboratory, Rajasthan. Welcome once again. Now, I would like to request Dr. Kavita Sharma, Coordinator, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science and convener of the event, to address about SAMVACHYY. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Nandini. Respected Chief Guest of National Symposium SAMVACHYY 2020 on the theme Forensic Science during and post-COVID era, Dr. J.M. Vyas sir, Director General, Gujarat Forensic Science University, Gandhinagar, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Dr. Upinder Dhar sir, Speakers, Dr. Veena Vaswani ma'am, Professor, Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology, Director, Center for Ethics, Inaugural University, Bangalore, Dr. Raj Srivastav, in charge, Joint Director, Ballistic and Training Division, State FSL, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh, Dr. S.K. Gupta, Scientist E, Department of Animal Ecology and Conservation Biology, Wildlife Institute of India, Chandrabani, Dehradun, Dr. R.K. Kumawat, Senior Scientific Officer, State Forensic Science Laboratory, Jaipur, Dr. M.P. Gautam, Senior Professor, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science, Indore, HODs, HOIs, and faculty members of all the constituent institutes of Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, participants, and dear students. Good morning to one and all. I express my deepest regards to all of you for your gracious presence. I would like to thank Dr. J.M. Vyas sir, Chief Guest, for sparing his valuable time out of his busy schedule and honoring us with his gracious presence. Here, I would like to share one thing that I visited GFSU Gandhinagar in 2016 to attend an international conference where I got an opportunity to meet to Dr. James Vyas sir. That day I requested sir that please come to our university in any of the program. Then I contacted sir many times and today sir is with us. Thank you sir for joining us. As our university is actively driven university and our Vice Chancellor sir encourages us to organize national conferences, international conferences, symposiums, etc. He always thinks for all-round development of faculties and students. Every year we set a theme for symposium related to different aspects of forensic science. But today, this symposium holds special value because this year we had chosen a theme which is having a global impact when all the world is suffering from the COVID-19 pandemic situation. So in this havoc situation, where forensic science stands, I would like to thank Honorable Vice Chancellor Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya Indore, Dr. Rupinder Dhar, for suggesting very appropriate theme for today's symposium. Thank you, sir. Sir, your support and guidance always a source of motivation for all of us. I would like to thank to all these speakers who have kindly agreed to share their words of wisdom. As the theme of symposium is forensic science during and post-COVID era. According to an article published in Maxter magazine, in this pandemic era, role of forensic pathologist is very important as they are heavily involved in managing this crisis. Their role is extremely challenging in this time to ensure proper management of dead bodies and in minimizing the spread of virus. A very nice article also highlights this situation that in this pandemic era, how a forensic pathologist guide authorities and hospitals about the do's and don'ts of dealing with the dead bodies and minimizing spread of virus. As we all know that this virus is highly infectious and spreadable, it is a challenge for the forensic virologist to solve this puzzle that the coronavirus is a bioweapon or not. Because after infection, there are several psychologist changes that are to be seen in human body. So the forensic psychologists have also aids in this that how psychology of a person is changed. The psychology of the nurses and doctors plays an important role during the treatment of the patients. It has been observed that some people are intentionally spreading the virus by spitting or touching. In this situation, forensic science and police officers have a great challenge for identifying to those types of disloyal people. Another aspect of forensic science in this pandemic situation is that there are many cases of rumors and fake news are registered. These cases are also be solved by cyber forensic. So we can say that forensic science is continuously doing its role in this pandemic situation for the nation in proper manner. And I hope that Corona harega, Bharat jeetega. As this symposium will create a platform for the academicians and different experts across country in this domain to share their potential and innovative researches in various fields of forensic science in this COVID period. We look forward to constructive and fruitful outcomes out of all the deliberations during program that will be helpful for us to understand the theme of the program. Before starting, let me take an opportunity to brief about today's event. We have two plenary sessions. In plenary session 1, Dr. Veena Vaswani ma'am Professor, Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology, Director, Center of Ethics, Yenepoa University, Mangalore, will be going to deliver a lecture on impact of COVID-19 on higher education. Whenever we request ma'am, she always accepts our invitation for knowledge sharing. Then Dr. S.K. Gupta will be going to speak on wildlife forensic science. The session will be chaired by Dr. M.P. Gautam, Professor, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science. In plenary session 2, Dr. Raj Srivastava will be delivering a lecture on forensic techniques and forensic psychology. After that, Dr. R.K. Kumawat will be speaking on forensic DNA testing during the era of COVID-19 pandemic, followed by a valedictory session. With these words, I would like to conclude by encouraging all the participants to clear most of their doubts during the session. I wish everyone a successful, safe, and fruitful symposium. Thank you very much. Happy learning, happy watching. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for briefing us about today's event. Next, may I request Dr. Rupinder Dhar, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sri Vaishnav Institute, Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, to present his welcome address. So, over to you.
Good morning to everybody. Professor J.M. Vyas, Dr. Veena Vaswani, Dr. S.K. Gupta, Dr. Raj Srivastava, Dr. R.K. Kumawat ji, all the participants, my colleagues, and friends. At the outset, I would like to congratulate our Institute of Forensic Science for thinking about this very important topic, forensic science during and post COVID-19. But before coming to the topic, I would like to express my grateful thanks to Professor Vyas for accepting our invitation. In fact, I was very eager that he should join us in one of the programs. And Kavita has been trying to approach him for last quite few years.
Yes, sir.
But I'm happy that now we are successful.
Yes, sir.
You see, I got inspired to start forensic science here. Credit goes to Dr. Vyas. How? Because way back in 2008-9, when I was director of Nirma Institute of Management at Ahmedabad, Dr. Vyas organized one international conference in our campus, in the Nirma campus. And then Chief Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji and the present Prime Minister of the country inaugurated that conference and also announced the establishment of Forensic University in Gujarat. In fact, we must appreciate the wisdom and vision of the Prime Minister that he thought of a forensic university at that time. Now it is about 11, 12 years back. And even today, I think this is the only university, only forensic university in our country. And forensic university is forensic science is an ever growing discipline. And we have realized its importance today when COVID-19 arrived. COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted everything across the world. All businesses, non-businesses, everything is disrupted. But then at the same time, since economy is disrupted, crime rate has also increased. It's still on increase. There comes the very significant role of forensic science. Many people have lost their jobs. Many people had to close down their businesses. So many people are on road. With the result, that has given rise to crime rate. And that gives us an idea that how important forensic science is. Police alone cannot solve the problems. Forensic science has a very vital role in solving many criminal issues which are faced today. As I said, that it's a continuously growing discipline. Even it is becoming interdisciplinary in the sense that now even in computer science, we talk about cyber forensic. We talk about forensic psychology. So it's an interdisciplinary. Our new education policy was declared. It was announced on 29th of July. And in new education policy, a lot of emphasis has been given on multidisciplinary approach. And forensic is already having this multidisciplinary approach. In fact, I feel that in a university system, everyone must be given some relevant input on forensic science. Like in our university, in SAMVACHYY Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, we have 2 courses which are compulsory for all. Irrespective of the discipline one has chosen, a student has to study a course on professional ethics and values, human values. Similarly, every student has to study a course on environment and energy studies. These 2 courses are compulsory in our university, irrespective of the discipline. We have 14 disciplines, ranging from engineering to architecture to agriculture, science, forensic science, even fine arts, social sciences, and so on and so forth. Every student who has become part of this university has to do a course on human values. And then those who are at undergraduate level, they have also to do a course on environment and energy studies. Similarly, I feel that forensic should also be available for every student. Whosoever has interest, he or she should be allowed to choose 1 or 2 courses from forensic discipline. This multidisciplinary approach is going to be very important now for every university. In fact, this national education policy talks about the definition of a university. And it says, see, in our country, we have different categories of universities. But it says that globally, if we look for the definition of a university, what is a university? University is an institution which offers undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctoral studies with a multidisciplinary approach. That multidisciplinary approach is very important. And forensic science is one of the important disciplines. We need to design certain courses which can be offered to students of other disciplines. Say somebody may be doing BTech program, but he should be allowed to take a course, but it should interest him. or her. So it will interest in, we have to specially design courses in such a way so that wider spectrum of students can opt for them, take interest, and learn what is very much important, what is very much required during the times to come. In fact, we have today, as I said in the beginning, Institute of Forensic Science. In fact, when we started this university, it's a young university. We started this university in 2015. The first question that was crossing our mind was that how this university is going to be different from other universities. Is it going to be another institution in the street, or it's going to be different? So we thought that we should have a broad spectrum with a multidisciplinary approach, not restricting ourselves to professional studies only. So we thought of certain professional streams on one side, but certain traditional streams also on the other side. That is, say, we right from the beginning, we started science, forensic science, social sciences, and so on and so forth, to maintain a balance between both professional studies and the traditional. On one hand, the country needs technocrats, management experts, but at the same time, country equally needs scientists. Therefore, we had to promote all the disciplines equally. And forensic science was one of those which we started right from the beginning. And I had this inspiration. It was at the back of my mind. As I mentioned, I could realize its importance when I attended the international conference organized by Dr. Vyas. So I give full credit to Dr. Vyas for starting or introducing this discipline. This conference is very important, keeping the current times in view. Though such pandemics have been happening once in 100 years. 1720, we had the pandemic across the world of the plague. There was an epidemic of plague across the world in 1720. Then 1820, there was epidemic of cholera across the world. Then in 1918 to 1920, 2 years, there was epidemic of Spanish flu. At that time, it was very devastating. Spanish flu affected 500 million people across the world, out of which 50 million people lost their lives. Well, we don't have that any idea about it because none of us is more than 100 years. All of us are less than 100 years, so we are not the direct witness to that happening. Unfortunately, many experiences of that time have not been documented. But today we are in a better position because technology is there, which was not there 100 years back. So because of technology, we are able to get connected, we are able to communicate, we are able to educate people how to prevent, so to educate people about prevention and cure. So we are in a way better off today. And our country has done very well in controlling it in terms of restricting the rate of growth of the disease if we compare ourselves with even developed countries like United States and others. So forensic science, coming back to our forensic science, I feel very strongly feel that forensic science has a very strong role during COVID times and even after COVID times. That makes this SAMVACHYY very important for learning. I'm sure with Dr. Vyas with us and other experts also joining this symposium, we will be richer in our understanding about the importance of forensic science as a discipline. This discipline needs to be promoted very strongly because of its relevance. Because of its relevance today and during the coming times. There are many cases, well-known cases, criminal cases, which forensic science has solved in the past. If we talk about Billa Ranga case, which happened few decades back, forensic science had a role in solving that problem. Arushi case in recent past, forensic science has played a very significant role. Similarly, there are n number of cases where forensic science has played very significant role. But unfortunately, due credit has not been given to this evolving science. When we think of, when we go through any news, when we listen to any news, when we hear any news, it's always mentioned that police solved this problem. Police reached on the spot and resolved the problem. But it is half truth. Full truth is that it is solved along with forensic experts. Police alone cannot solve the problems. So we need not to, unfortunately, police force, the role of police force has been highlighted always, but not the role, significant role behind the scene played by the forensic experts. Therefore, I feel we need to give due recognition to this discipline and experts of forensic science so that it grows further and comes in the front row, not remaining in the background, and comes out with better solutions in future. I'm sure that all of us will learn many things today, and we will use that knowledge wherever applicable. So with these words, I'm happy to inaugurate this symposium and welcome all of you once again to this symposium. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words of wisdom. Now, may I take this opportunity to introduce our chief guest at SAMVACHYY 2020, Dr. J.M. Vyas, sir. A seasoned scholar and a navigator of this flagship of knowledge, Dr. J.M. Vyas is working as a Director General of Gujarat Forensic Sciences University, Gandhinagar, since February 2009. He worked as a director for the Directorate of Forensic Science, Gujarat State from 1993 until 2009 and is also currently holding the additional charge of the same. He has been elected as the organizing committee member for Interpol's Forensic Science Symposium in 2010 and re-elected for the term 2011 to 2013 as well. He was awarded with the President's Police Medal for meritorious services in the field of crime investigation on the eve of Republic Day in 1997. He was also adjudged as the best forensic science laboratory director of the country and was awarded with the commendation certificate by the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister at the 15th All India Forensic Science Conference in 2004. Sir was awarded with the Lifetime Achievement Award in the area of forensic chemistry by MIT University and All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi in October 2008. He holds a large number of publications in various journals of national and international repute and is a very well-known forensic expert of the country. It's a matter of immense pleasure and pride for all of us to have such an honored personality with us. So let's welcome Dr. J.M. Vyas sir once again, and may I now please request you, sir, for your kind address.
Thank you so much. Professor Upendra Darji, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Kavita Sharma, the coordinator who is responsible for me being here with all of you today. My friend Dr. Gautam, who retired as director of Chhattisgarh Forensic University and joined this university as a professor. all eminent respected speakers who are going to participate in today's program and going to give their talks on various subjects, the faculty members, students, and guests. It's really an honor to be with all of you today and to share my views on forensic science during and post-COVID. Now, any conference or any activity you take, COVID will be attached. Either the part of our activity or post-COVID activity, because COVID has almost become a life partner with us. And they're not, we only the entire world. And we are now trying to learn how to live with COVID. I was really happy to listen to the talk, the speech gave by Professor Dar. He spoke like a forensic scientist. He knows the entire gamut of forensic science, an excellent speech. And he narrated forensic science in the most simplest manner, calling it a multidisciplinary area. This is very right. And he also said that due recognition is not given to this subject. That also is correct. And then he also said that forensic experts work from behind the curtain. They are not into the field. The credit goes to the police, and forensic scientists are there along with the police in solving the crime, handling the investigation, etc. Now, you see, this was, if you talk of when I joined about 46 years ago, this field, there was no concept of forensic science graduates or postgraduates or PhD people joining the forensic science laboratories. We joined as simple, basic postgraduates or doctoral students. My own area is not a forensic science. It was a chemistry, pure chemistry. So I was a person of chemistry. Likewise, we had physicists joining and doing the physical examination, etc. We had pure biologists handling biological investigation. And then slowly, you molded yourselves and then you became a forensic scientist. This is how it happens. And then after 10, 15, 20 years, a concept came that rather than depending on pure graduates with basic degree, why can't we create forensic scientists? And so few universities, Robert Sagar was probably the first to introduce forensic science master's program and then all the PhD programs. Likewise in Punjab University, Patiala, and many universities came out with some kind of course, MSc in forensic science. So we started getting, in addition to basic degree holders, we also started getting forensic scientists who have passed out with basic bachelor or master's degree, or maybe they have done PhD. So this is how it went. Now the concept has changed further, because now if I come back to the definition of forensic science is applications of various branches of science in the detection and prosecution of crime. So you need to apply your knowledge of your own interest from where you have passed out. Say, for example, in my case, I am a person of chemistry. When I apply my knowledge of chemistry and investigate a crime, I am a forensic chemist. If I not apply my knowledge of pharmacy and investigate crime, it is forensic pharmacy. If I apply my knowledge of engineering and investigate crime, it is forensic engineering. If I apply my knowledge of accountancy and investigate crime, is forensic accounting. If I apply my knowledge of computer science and investigate crime, is computer forensics. Anything, you apply your knowledge of environmental science, it is environmental forensics. You apply your knowledge of journalism, forensic journalism. You apply your knowledge of nursing, is forensic nursing. You apply your knowledge of medicine, is forensic medicine. So, as Dr. Dar was telling, that it is open now. It is no more a subject, a choice of a scientist who has passed out with chemistry, physics, and biology. No. Even if you support arts, you are a psychologist, you apply your knowledge of psychology and investigate crime. There is a forensic psychology, there's a big branch. So this is how forensic science started getting a newer and newer definition. And there was an acute shortage of this kind of experts, not only in India, throughout the world. And taking this into consideration, because the most of the forensic science laboratories in our country and outside, they were employing basic students with basic qualifications. That's all. They were not getting forensic scientists. That was a problem. Though few universities were there, but then a forensic science student competes with a chemistry student, and then if suppose the performance of a chemistry student is better, naturally that student will get selected. So this is how scenario was not very much promising. And looking to the acute shortage of this kind of experts, and also taking into consideration of the sophistication which came into the commission of crimes through criminals, they became more and more advanced, started applying all kinds of latest technologies. So that also was problem for a routine investigator or a routine expert with a chemistry, physics, and biology qualification to handle this kind of investigation. The then Chief Minister and the present Honorable Prime Minister of India took a decision that let us start this kind of university. And this was the first university when we started in 2009. It is still the first and the only university. No similar institution has come up so far. Everybody is trying. We are getting delegations from various countries in order to establish similar kind of a university there in their country. So far, nothing has come up. It's not that easy because it is a combination of varieties of areas. And you also need a skill. Now, to talk about me, I was not an academician. I never worked as an academician. I was basically a forensic scientist involved in investigation of crimes of different types. And then I had expertise of investigation. That's all. That was my skill and expertise. Never worked as an academician. But then I was asked to head the university. I was the first vice chancellor who was asked to do this. And I learned academics. So now in my case, it is a combination of actual professionalism and academics. So this combination is working in a different manner. I know how to investigate crime. I also know how to teach. I learned slowly how to teach. So teaching is possible. Crime investigation based on your actual experience, you are able to explain it to the students, has a different meaning. You teach students based on only theoretical aspects, and you teach students based on your own knowledge and experience, has a different value. So this is how students started getting more and more exposure on how to investigate actual crime. And this is how it went. Now, then, as I told you, the definition of forensic science was changing, and it is application of various branches. And then we started thinking, if I have to apply my knowledge of pharmacy and investigate crime, we must have a special course on forensic pharmacy. Now, we can't depend on routine general forensic scientists, because the pharmaceutical companies which are facing problems of crime taking place in their own organization, they are different from routine crimes. And if a forensic pharmacist is given this job, he will be able to do it in a better way because he has knowledge of pharmacy rather than a general forensic scientist. If there are problems related to construction of bridge, etc., there are irregularities in construction. And if this kind of crime is to be investigated, It is better if it is done by a forensic engineer. So we came out with a course, MTech in forensic engineering. Chartered accountants, large number of financial irregularities, bank, etc. Now who can do? General forensic scientists will have limitations. Say, for example, a chemistry man taking postgraduate level program and gets a degree of forensic science and masters, he will not be able to concentrate more and investigate financial crime because he has got general knowledge of everything. So we picked up chartered accountants and started training them and gave a degree of MBA in forensic accounting. We were the first in the world. So MBA in forensic accounting. Likewise, nanotechnology, a master's in forensic nanotechnology. The person who is in nanotechnology. We are applying now the knowledge of nanotechnology in the investigation of crime. So every area you will be selected, and then accordingly we started creating experts. Biotechnology, again, need of the hour. Now, instead of giving DNA analysis work to a general forensic scientist, if it is given to a person who has done biotechnology in BSc and is doing MSc in forensic biotechnology and also is doing PhD in forensic biotechnology, will be a better person to handle DNA related issues. So this is how we started creating experts in specialized areas. MSc Forensic Science is only one program with us. Though it's a very big program, we have large number of students doing this. We started with 30 seats, and today I think we have got more than 120 seats, and there are large number of foreign students attending this course. So MSc Forensic Science is the main program, but then we have 42 other programs related to forensics and allied areas. Now, forensic word, when it comes, people will think forensics role starts after the crime takes place. They investigate. We said no, we changed that definition of forensic also. Forensic can also be used in prevention of crime. And we came out with a new concept, preventive forensics. Now, preventive forensics, application of various branches of science in prevention of crime. That also is working well, and this is how we entered into areas called security, because prevention of crime can be directly connected with security. So the first program we started was Homeland Security. How can you manage internal security or homeland security based on your knowledge of forensic science? So Homeland Security, applying science and technology. Application of science and technology in securing your country. So Homeland Security. And then the second course we introduced was cyber security. Now, large number of cyber crimes are taking place, and especially in this COVID area, because of the lockdown, etc., people remain at their home. There is also a tendency to work from home. As a result, all kinds of crime through computer, mobiles are committed. So unless and until you are alert, you are likely to be victim of this kind of crimes. These crimes are increasing. Now, how to give knowledge to people that you be away from this kind of activities, otherwise you will become victim of this kind. So a concept of cyber security came. Now, you have to learn how to secure your system right from your mobile. How to secure my mobile so that I don't become victim of a crime through my mobile. How to secure my computer, and similarly, how to secure all digital devices I am using so that nobody can take away any information. Nobody can commit crime on me using this kind of digital devices I'm using. And then it went further. Now there are IT installations in big organizations. So how to secure this? Cyber security takes care of this also. How to secure IT installations? How to secure our big power stations? How to secure our hospitals, which are run through computers and automatic systems? How to secure functioning of railways, where you are totally dependent on computer-based systems. So now, unless and until this kind of security concept comes in my mind, I will not be able to secure my country, because there are likely to be cyber crimes against country. There are likely to be cyber war against our country. And to meet this challenge, we need to come out with kind of the concept of cyber security and cyber defense. This is forensics, but now forensics is applied in prevention of crime. And third angle which we took in forensic was, forensic is not only related to crime. Forensic can also be applied for the benefit of human being. And this is how we came out with a global center in collaboration with ICRC, and that center is known as a Global Center of Humanitarian Forensics. So humanitarian forensics is application of forensic science for the benefit of human being. So this is mainly we are focusing on disaster victims. So the victims who are the victims of disasters, they have lost their lives, how to give dignity to this kind of dead bodies. So we, in short, we call it dignified management of dead in case of mass disasters. This is taken up in a forensic component, and we have given a new name, humanitarian forensics. So this is how, as Professor Dhar rightly said, is an area which is growing daily, because pattern of crime is changing, number of crimes are also increasing, more and more sophistication is coming in commission of crime. So you need to depend on forensic science in a more and more manner. Involve forensic science in a more and more manner. This is forensics. So it's again important thing. Now every student is keen to learn forensic science. Therefore, there are many institutions which are running this kind of programs, and large number of students are opting for this kind of courses. Job opportunities are also there. You don't depend on especially government kind of jobs, but if you are a good forensic scientist, you'd be taken by any good big companies. You can be taken in banks. You can be taken in private and public sector companies. They all need this kind of experts to handle routine kind of crimes which take place in their organizations. They don't want to go to police, register a case and do this. Instead, they would like to give it to their forensic expert. And when forensic expert is present in that company, that also creates a kind of a scare in the public, in the employees of that company, that, oh, now they have employed a forensic expert. If I will commit crime, I'll be caught. That also is there. So that also plays a role of a preventive forensics. So this is how it's a big field, and criminals are also becoming more and more advanced. We are also changing our technologies of investigation on day-to-day basis. A lot of research is required. Research is need of the hour in forensics, because you need to come out with newer and newer techniques. So more emphasis on research. This was the method used by a criminal in committing an offense, and we don't have mechanism or a technology to deal with that kind of investigation. Create a new mechanism. Come out with a technology. That is the need of the hour. And this is how you are trying to cope up with the challenges posed by the criminals. Because they're so much advanced, and you see, if you take cybercrime, you need not come to India. Sitting in a corner of US or any country, the person is able to take out money from your account. So sitting in some corner of the world, a crime can be committed anywhere in the world. Now, how to identify that person, and even how to identify as to from which place the crime has taken place, and then reaching that person, arresting that person, requires a lot of technological involvement. So this is the need of the hour. It's a challenge. Challenge is given by the criminals, and we are always one step behind. We should be ahead of them, but then somehow they commit crime using some technology, and then we come out with a mechanism to investigate that kind of crime. This is how it is happening. There is also a tendency in criminals. Now they know, if I leave my fingerprint, I will be identified. I will be caught. If I leave a drop of blood, I will be caught. If my small piece of hair is left at the scene of offense, I will be caught. If any trace of my clothes, etc., is remaining behind, I will be caught. So this fellow, after committing a crime, tries to see that everything is removed from the scene of offense, so that no evidence is collected. There is nothing which is available. But then forensic scientist has a different eye. Forensic scientist looks that destroyed evidence as a trace evidence. So he collects those trace evidences which this fellow could not remove even after applying all the methods of removal. There are traces of evidences which are remaining behind. Those traces are collected, analyzed using more sophisticated technology, because this trace evidences, you can't apply routine technology for analysis and investigation. You need to go for higher technologies, more sophisticated technology, and then ultimately you identify this fellow. So this is how, these are the challenges. They will destroy evidence, and then it is difficult for you to do the investigation based on conventional methods. And that was also a problem. People used to ask us, I'm talking about 1980s, that forensic scientists can help investigator provided there is an evidence. If there is an evidence available at the scene of offense, that evidence will be picked up. Either it is blood, or it is semen, or it is hair, or it is tooth, or it is bone, or it is a piece of glass, or it is a mobile, or it is a computer, anything. If that is available, you can do analysis and then link the criminal with that evidence. That is fine. But if there is no evidence available, then what a forensic scientist can do? That was also a challenge. And then we came out with a new mechanism. In 1982-83, we established forensic psychology department. Now, forensic science, forensic psychology comes to the aid of investigator in absence of evidences. When there are no evidences, because you came to know about the crime 6 months after the crime was committed. Somebody was murdered, the dead body was destroyed, cremated, everything was done. And after 6 months, some complaint came that this was a murder actually. And then you start investigating. Now, in this case, there are no evidences because everything has been destroyed. It is an old case, 6 months old. Now you apply your techniques of forensic psychology. It starts from psychological profiling, then you go to lie detector, then you go to suspect detection system. You also have a layered analysis system. I am not going into the details of it. Then you have brain fingerprinting or brain oscillation profiling, signature profiling system. Then you ultimately have a narco analysis system. Now the new method which has come is when somebody tells lie, the moment of the pupils change, and based on that moment, you can detect the person is lying. So eye detect is a new method which is invented in USA. So this method is used. Now applying, you interrogate the suspect, you interrogate the complainant, you interrogate the witnesses, and you interrogate any people whom you feel could have been a part of this crime. And then you are able to reconstruct the entire crime. And you can also decide the level of involvement of a person in a particular crime. This is psychology. So forensic psychology also plays the major role when there are no evidences. So this is how, whether there is an evidence available, you pick up the evidence, analyze, give a report. No evidence, apply your method of psychology. Now, what is the role of a forensic scientist? There are three types. It can be classified into three roles. Crime scene management. The forensic scientist has to go to the scene of offense, and he needs to identify the evidences. There are a large number of things lying when he goes there. Now he has to decide which evidence can help him in linking the criminal with the crime scene. So he identifies out of 100 items lying, he will say these 25 items are good enough for me in connecting this fellow. So then identification of proper evidences which are lying, and then of course photography, videography, that all this has to be done. He will have to do it. He will also do some kind of reconstruction, that how this crime would have taken place, from where the person would have entered, what could have been the position of the victim, and then which way the scuffle would have gone, and then ultimately which way the crime would have committed. Everything he anticipates, and then accordingly goes for reconstruction, and that reconstruction is also his job. Then he picks up the evidences, packs them, and they are forwarded to forensic laboratory. Now, what is the role of forensic laboratory? Forensic laboratory's role is, the evidence could be of any type. See, you cannot, there is no limitation of that this cannot be taken as evidence and this can only be taken as evidence. Nothing. Anything which could be linked with the criminal can become a good piece of evidence. It could be a pen, it could be a pencil, it could be a fabric, it could be a button, it could be mobile, it could be computer, it could be CD, it could be pen drive, it could be soil, it could be glass, it could be paint. Anything could be an evidence through which you analyze this and can link this person. So what is forensic laboratory? Forensic laboratory means it will have all kinds of technologies and expertise to analyze any kind of evidence which is referred to them. Is the bond piece? No, I don't have facility to analyze bond. No, there is not. You must have the facility. So I say that forensic science laboratory is like a mall. If you go, the best mall, because it has got everything. Anything you need, from the smallest item to a big car, is available in that mall. And that mall is successful therefore, because the customer goes there and all the requirements of the customers are met with. Similarly here, the customer is an investigating officer. He comes to your laboratory as a forensic laboratory, and then he has his own requirements. These are the evidences he has picked up. And now he needs that you analyze them, create facilities within your laboratory, analyze and give me the report, and you should have all the capabilities. So this is how the forensic laboratory is to be established. First role is crime scene management. Second is analysis of evidences as a forensic expert. Third role is to go to the court and depose as an expert. And this is how I did it, explain and convincing to the court that this is how the technology is applied. And therefore, see why these reports are becoming more and more important now is forensic science based opinions are always objective opinion. They are taken as objective opinion. So objectivity has more value, more evidential value, because these opinions are not based on my personal or individual concept or perception. These reports are based on scientific findings and scientific data. When I say that this is not meeting the required standards and therefore it is failing, I give the logic. I present all the data that it was analyzed with respect to A, B, C, D, E, F. And with all this, this was the method I applied. And these are the results of A, B, C, D, E, F. And they are not meeting with the required standards. And therefore, I say that it is not a standard item. But if they are meeting, you say that this is a standard item meeting all kinds of specifications. So this is how this report is more value, because this report is based on scientific data and scientific findings, has a lot of objectivity, and therefore this report is more acceptable in the courts. They rely more on this. And this is how forensic science is gaining more and more importance. And the fourth role is forensic scientist is supposed to create awareness about the technology is applying to the investigating officer, so that investigating officer comes to know the capability of this forensic scientist, and also to the judges that these are the capabilities and this is what forensic science can do. So training is a big component. You need to train police officers. You need to train prosecutors who are going to help you in the court as a prosecutor. They should also be aware of what are the technologies and how they are applied and what is the accuracy level, etc. And then you need to train judges and judicial officers, because they are the people who are going to appreciate the reports submitted by you. And these reports are all technical in nature. So you need to make them understand this is how the analysis is done. These are the technicalities of this report, and this is how the report can be interpreted. So this, in short, is the role of a forensic scientist, and it is an area which is gaining more and more importance now. And post-COVID, this is going to grow because crimes are increasing, whether COVID or no COVID. But then post-COVID, as Professor Dhar rightly said, there are chances of crime getting more and more in number. There's an increase in crime because of many other issues, unemployment, etc., etc. So there are possibilities post-COVID. Forensic science should be capable to handle this kind of challenges which comes to them, accept the challenges even post-COVID, whatever it is. The pattern of crime could be different post-COVID, but then you should have the capabilities of taking those challenges also. You should keep yourself ready. And people may come out with this kind of criminal attitude because of depression, etc., because of the COVID. So people may commit crime under depression, under some psychological disorders. So forensic science, forensic psychology, and clinical psychology are the areas which can deal with this kind of issues post-COVID. So involvement of forensic psychology in a big way in post-COVID kind of situations. So this is we are passing through tough times, and in this tough times also we learn, because I normally say every adversity gives you a kind of an opportunity. So out of adversity, get some opportunity and take advantage of this adversity. So this is one of the steps. Now, we never thought of doing virtual conferences. This is the effect of COVID. So we have learned this, how to do this without seeing people. I am talking. Initially, it was difficult for me when I addressed some of the virtual meetings, because you don't see people there. You don't know what is the response of people. Accordingly, you can't decide your talk because it is all one-sided. But now that also we are used to now. We are giving talks without seeing the response of the participants. But anyway, we enjoy it. So that this also has changed our mindsets. So this is an effect of COVID. So we are learning many things out of COVID. COVID is a tough thing to handle. Everybody is now scared of this, but then opportunities are also coming out of this. So take opportunity, take advantage of this, and then grow, and see that ultimately the role of forensic scientist is to strengthen the criminal justice delivery system. That ultimately decides or maintains the law and order of the country. And that law and order makes the country and keeps the country safe and secure. So let us all jointly do this to see that how best we can secure and make our country, India, the safest country in the world. This is what the role of forensic scientist is. Thank you very much. I am thankful to Professor Dhar for giving me this opportunity. Dr. Kavita Sarma, she was after me for many years. Ultimately, this has materialized today. I am thankful to you, madam, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir.
And I wish this symposium a grand success. And I really honor and pleasure and in announcing this symposium, open symposium for discussions. I am sure the deliberations which are going to take place, they all will be fruitful and useful to everyone who attends this symposium. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your thought-provoking address and sharing your valuable views with us. Thank you once again. So every beginning has its end, and moving towards the end of this inaugural session, let's invite Dr. Swati Dubey Mishra, Coordinator SAMVACHYY 2020, for her words of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Nandini. Respected Dr. G.M. Vyas, Director General, Gujarat Forensic Science University, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Upendra Dhar, Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore. Dr. Veena Vaswani, Professor, Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology, Director, Center for Ethics, Yenagoya University, Mangalore, Karnataka. Dr. Raj Srivastav, in charge Joint Director, Ballistics and Training Division, State Forensic Science Laboratory, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh. Dr. S.K. Gupta, Scientist E, Department of Animal Ecology and Conservation Biology, Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, Uttarakhand. Dr. R.K. Kumawat, Senior Scientific Officer, State Forensic Science Laboratory, Jaipur, Rajasthan. Dr. Kavita Sharma, convener of 4th National Symposium, SAMVACHYY 2020, and coordinator, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science. Dr. M.P. Gautam, Professor, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science, HOIs, HODs, faculty members, delegates, and participants from India and abroad. Namaskar. Once a great man said, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is liking wrapping a present and not giving it. It's my privilege to express my gratitude, respect to all on this occasion. First of all, I am humbled and grateful to our chief guest, Dr. G.M. Vyas, for taking his precious time out and grace this occasion. Your presence and gentle words are a great source of encouragement for all of us. Thank you so much, sir. I express my grateful thanks to all the speakers for giving consent to share their ideas. Everything changes with passage of time. This is known as law of progressive change of forensic science. As Dr. Kavita Sharma, convener of this event, mentioned that Dr. Upendra Dhar had provided very appropriate theme, that is forensic science during and post-COVID era. Thank you so much, sir. Your energetic and optimistic attitude always inspired us for making any event happen virtually during COVID-19 period. A goal without a plan is just a wish. I must mention my warm gratitude to our symposium convener, Dr. Kavita Sharma, for her continuous motivation, concrete suggestion, and meticulous attention from planning to execution from making this event happen. Fervently and humbly, I acknowledge the genuine cooperation and inspiration offered by Dr. M.P. Gautam, Senior Professor, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Forensic Science. Unity is strength. When there is a teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved. Now, I would like to thank all the committee members for their keen efforts. Without their support, it would not be possible. At last, but not at least, I am extending my heartfelt appreciation to the registered participants who have joined us from different parts of India and abroad. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you.
Short of time. I'll request all the participants to join once again with the link provided in the schedule. And we'll be starting our plenary session within 10 minutes. Thank you.
हेलो आलोक सर। आलोक सर।
यस सर।
सर ये वाली लिंक क्लोज कर दीजिए और जो दूसरी वाली जो लिंक है ना सर,
हाँ हाँ
सर वो स्टार्ट कर दीजिए सर।
ठीक ठीक।
जी जी सर।